everybody, and welcome to Ask M&R Productions episode 159, the series where I answer your questions. So if you have a question you want answered on next week's episode, make sure you leave it down in the comment section below, and there is a chance I will answer it. Hope y'all are having a great week, but let's get into it with our first question from William. He says, what is your favorite alien from each trilogy, assumedly, of Star Wars? And my first one here in the prequel trilogy is going to be the species Pauan, something like that, P-A-U-A-N. This specific guy's name is Tion Medon. I can't pronounce any of these words. What am I trying? But he's the guy that Obi-Wan meets up before his big fight with Grievous on Utapau, and I just always thought he was a really interesting species from the prequels. As far as the original trilogy, I'm kind of cheating with this answer, I feel like. I'm gonna go with the Chiss. It's Grand Admiral Thrawn's species. He's mainly in Rebels, obviously, and so I feel like it's fair for me to say this. Plus, he's a really cool guy. And then we have the Porg species from the sequel trilogy. I'm going with as my favorite species from there. So hopefully that is a satisfactory answer for you there, William. Now, next up from John Russell, he says, what is the weakest set that you own falls apart in your hands? And obviously, I have a very recent answer for this here, but the new LEGO City road plates have been a bit of an issue for me. Every time I pick them up, I feel like they want to fall apart in my hands, and that's just because of the very nature of the way they're built and put together. Maybe I'm supposed to take them apart to transport them, I don't know. But for whatever reason with these new LEGO City sets, I have a tough time picking up the sets with, or the road plates with the road plates attached to them, whatever the case is, because the road plates tend to want to fall off, and that is a bit annoying, and I can definitely see if it's a little kid picking up these road plates, that is going to be a huge deal there, because they are going to fall apart in their hands every time. I feel like I have like the dexterity and like the know-how to be like, oh yeah, I could balance it this way and it'll work, but like kids are going to be like, break, it's gonna suck. So yeah, those ones in particular I've had a bit of an issue with. MandRproductions says, if there's gonna be a set bigger than the Coliseum, are you gonna smash it to the ground? Again, laughing, crying, emoji face. As is tradition. I mean, I feel like at this point it's kind of a thing, right? When the UCS Falcon came out, I did a drop test of that. Now when the Coliseum came out and dethroned the UCS Falcon, I did a drop test of that. And apparently there's a rumor that there's a giant Titanic coming, and let me tell you, I have wanted like a LEGO, I like, obviously, a Titanic isn't a cruise ship, but I'm fascinated by cruise ships and I love them. And I would very much like to have that set as like a display piece, so I would probably either rebuild that or buy a second one to keep, but I would definitely, I feel like, as is tradition, want to do a video where I kind of destroy it for the fun of it. Like, that sounds like a really neat and swell idea. So if a set bigger than the Coliseum ever comes out, 100% I'll do that video. Next up, from Hudson Dog 59, he says, when you move out, how long do you think it will take you to move all your sets? How will you do it? So I think it might take a week or two. Like, it's definitely not going to be like a one-day move thing, like where a lot of people, you know, pack your boxes, because for me personally, what I'm going to do is like, I'll take some sets, put them in the trunk of my car, back seat, take them to wherever I live, and then rinse and repeat. And that's just going to take a while to do, because you don't want to like let them break. I guess I could bubble wrap them all. Either way, it's going to take a long time. Like, I'm probably going to miss some video days on YouTube or whatever, but I'm very excited for the prospect of that happening in the next few months. Next up from Ryan, he says, favorite clone trooper in the Clone Wars that hit hard when they died. So I have a bit of an interesting question or answer for you, rather. It's the clone that dies as like the first one in the Battle of Christophsis, back in the 2008 Clone Wars movie, when they are just about to charge the droids. He's like, for the Republic! And he's like, charge on! And then he gets shot and his helmet or head, whatever, flies off. And it was like so sad. That is the only clone death I really remember. And I was like, rest in peace, little homie clone trooper there. Just a no-name dude. Jack says, what do you think of the LEGO Ideas Medieval Blacksmith? I think it looks like an excellent set. I'm actually thinking of picking it up on February 1st when it comes out, so let me know in the comments below or with a like on the video if you guys want me to buy, build, and review that set, because I'm kind of into it. I don't have anywhere to put it, so I don't know why the hell I'm going to buy it. But for the content, I think it's interesting. And yeah, I definitely like the look of it. I like that it's kind of built based off an older LEGO set, but not quite the same. Like, it's a really new touch on that. It's got a nice bit of color to it and everything. The one issue that I think a lot of people have had with it is that it's historically inaccurate. It has a female knight, and that, of course, probably wasn't a thing way back in the day. But yeah, no, it's obviously not a thing I don't care about. I just think it's funny. I think most of the people talking about it are talking about it like as a meme. But yeah, I like that medieval blacksmith set, and I kind of want to buy it. And I think it's only 150 bucks, which isn't like crazy for something like that. So I think I might be in on that. Let me know if you guys want me to get that. I will. A bit of a longer one here from Patrick. Says, second year into collecting as an AFOL and quickly running out of home office shelf space. Any thoughts on how to keep collecting while making room for new sets? I'm currently storing some and deconstructing some while displaying my favorites. Best to sell now or later to fund new sets, store to rebuild years later. I know this all comes down to preference, but I wanted to get your 2 cents. So if you buy something, like there are a few things that I'll buy that I like these LEGO City sets. I guess you can't really see them in the background, but they're sets that I'm kind of buying just to experience. They're not sets I want to keep forever, right? So maybe I'll display them for a couple months and I'll get rid of them. And like, if you have a set like that, honestly might be more worth it for you if you're really trying to get the absolute most bang for your buck, to tear them apart, save them for 2 years, and then sell them when they're retired, because most LEGO sets when they're retired will go up in value. Most LEGO sets when they're out and currently available are at their lowest possible value on a place like eBay or Bricklink. But you don't have to get every penny out of your dollar there too. You could just sell them while they're worth a little bit less now to be able to fund something now, right? Like you're getting more benefit out of something sooner rather than later. You don't have to store something away for 2 years and then maybe even forget about it, like stuff like that. Personally, I would recommend, if you're buying something and you just don't want it anymore, to sell it now rather than later, because if you play the waiting game, you could be playing the waiting game forever. Like, you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. Not everything is gonna go up in value tremendously, but sometimes things will. It's just hard to know what will, and for that, I think it's not worth the headache of having around, especially if, like you said, you're running out of space. It's just easier to keep your mind clear and your space clear by getting rid of it. As far as like actual shelf space though, obviously you can get new shelves that have bigger shelving areas, of course, that could help. Now, one thing I would really recommend that I used to do is I would build little stands for certain sets to kind of rise them above other sets, right? So you can basically create a multi-layer shelving where you have like a Starfighter or like a Turbo Tank or whatever on the bottom, and then your Arc 170 is like on stilts up above all your other sets. So instead of having to have an Arc 170 flat on a shelf or whatever, taking up space that other sets could be taking up, it can basically be in the air if you build a little stand for it. So I would also suggest trying that. Forged in Lego says, what is the worst Lego investment you have ever made? So I definitely don't do a ton of Lego investing, and typically I don't even really think of it like that, but I certainly remember back in like 2016 buying some Lego Bionicle sets on clearance for like $4.50, and I might have barely even sold them for that. Like, they were like, it was a nuisance to me to own them. Like, that's what made it was bad, honestly. It was like, I have these, and now why did I buy these? So I can make $3 selling them? Like, I don't know, it just felt really stupid to me, and so I've tried to not do stuff like that since then, because like, it's like, why do I have this thing? It's just annoying, it's in the way, it's taking up space that I want to use for other stuff, and like, yeah, I think those Lego Bionicle things from like 2016, I only bought a few, and they were just still rather annoying to me. Joshua Bubar says, how high do you think the chances that we actually get a Jar Jar Brickheads are? Well, considering what I heard the minifigures in the UCS gunship might be, like the rumor, right now it isn't out there, but it's like that they're supposedly disappointing, not very high. LEGO clearly doesn't care what the majority of fans want, even though they did a vote and asked what people wanted. So the reason I picked this question is not to tell you not to do it, but because I want to clear up the misconception of how I pick questions. Lewis M says, why do people think they need to put Ask M&R at the start of the question? The answer is they don't. You don't. I've told people you don't. And I think the reason people do it is because I told you not to, and it's funny, so like, I get that. But someone says, this way he can go back and put a filter on his comments in YouTube Studio just to grab the questions. This isn't true. I don't do that. I literally go on the comment section of the video and I scroll down and pick questions. It's really simple. Don't overthink it. But yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because it's just factually wrong. Tyler Poland says, how can I convince my girlfriend to let me take up more space out of the house with Legos? Well, Tyler, as someone who has had a grand total of one girlfriend in my life, I feel like you have come to the right place. You're gonna have to make what's called a compromise. Is there something that she really wants? You need to find this thing and use it as bargaining power to allow you to have more shelf space or more storage space for your Lego collection. Honestly though, that is probably not a bad way to go about it, to be like, hey, like, if you want to do this thing in the apartment or house or whatever, let me do this thing in the house. Ideally though, I don't know how big your house is, how many rooms you have, you would like get your own room for it, right? Like, I know a lot of people do that, and like, you know, you stay in your room, like that's your man cave or your Lego cave or whatever the case is, and that seems like an ideal, fair way to kind of settle it, if you will. So like I said, I don't know much about your situation, but if you have that ability, I would certainly suggest that, but more likely you're gonna have to compromise somewhere. Pulsation 6 says, what's your basketball style of play? Which NBA player style do you try to emulate? I usually just try to emulate whoever's good on the Celtics. So like, I was really god-awful dribbling with my left hand until about 2016, and 2016 just so happened to be when Isaiah Thomas was like really good on the Celtics, so like, I wanted to do some of his left-hand moves, so I was like, all right, left-hand it is, start dribbling with the left hand a lot more, and so I got a lot more fluent like dribbling with the left hand because I'm a predominant right-hand guy. Mo says, have you ever killed a man in the dead of night? Of course not, and thank God this guy didn't ask about the daytime, sheesh. Finn says, do you think that there's a possibility of there ever being a UCS Starkiller base? So I've been doing this series for what, 3 years now? I swear to goodness, I've gotten this question like every series or every episode for 3 years, and I'm not sure I get it, right? Like, okay, so like this isn't like a personal thing against people that ask this question, but like when you ask for a UCS Starkiller base, or if I think one can happen, what are you asking for? Like, I'm genuinely curious, because if you're asking for like LEGO to make like a whole Death Star style build of Starkiller Base, I don't see that ever happening. Starkiller Base was in one movie, and a movie at that isn't very loved by the Star Wars community on the whole. Now, I like all of Star Wars and love it all and whatever, but I'm just being realistic here. And so something like that is just completely unreasonable to me to see LEGO making for $400, $500, $600 that would seem to be projected for a UCS Starkiller Base. Now, could they make a Starkiller Base based set? Certainly, but like I don't see them ever making a UCS Starkiller Base, at least from like what I'm taking away from what people seem to ask me about it. Like, I just don't see where it translates into LEGO very well, and plus it would be an incredibly complicated build with the way that like the cannon is built into it, and like it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me for LEGO to go and make. Now, like I said, I think they should make some play sets based on it, perhaps. Like, I would love to get the podium that General Hux is on. I think that's a great scene and really like shows the might and like wrath of the First Order really well. But even that, I think, might be a little too far for LEGO to make a playset based on. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem very likely to me. Like, obviously, you ask if there's a possibility. I mean, I can sit here and tell you, yes, there's a possibility. Anything is possible. But no, I don't think it's going to happen, especially not at such an exorbitant price, nor under the UCS label. Zombie Guy Minecraft says, which of your subscribers has the most subscribers? So for people that don't know, on YouTube, you can sometimes, depending on who it is, see who your subscribers are. So it only happens if the person has their subscribers set to being public. So we're going to take a look and see who the most subscribed subscriber is for me. So my most subscribed subscriber is a guy with a Russian name that I can't even read. Tovarish Fronov, something like that. I think it's Russian, and it's got 1.16 million subscribers. Now, that's not to say there isn't somebody with more subscribers that subscribes to me. In fact, I know this guy named Slogo watches me because he came on one of my live stream chats one time and said he did, and he has like 10 million subscribers. So as far as I know, he would technically be number one. But as far as like the YouTube statistics will show me, this is the guy with the most. And this is actually the first time I've ever looked at his channel. It looks like he does like toy things. But yeah, not a channel I follow or really know anything about. I guess this guy just happens to have a big YouTube channel and is also interested in the videos that I make, which is really cool. Tanner Rose says, what are your best tips for becoming a LEGO reseller? Well, as an expert in economics, I would say you should buy low and sell high. Nah, I mean, buy it on clearance, you know, buy it when it's on sale, never pay full price is the prime rule for most people, of course, when you're trying to make a profit on something, and that's how stores themselves make a profit on things, believe it or not. What a shocker, right? They don't pay full price. So yeah, I would say never pay full price is the number one rule of being a LEGO reseller, I guess. I'm not going to tell you how to scalp or anything. I think that's stupid. But if you want to invest in LEGO sets, I don't see anything really inherently wrong with that. As I've grown older, like, I think that's not a bad thing to do at all, especially on certain sets. You can make a ton of money later down the line and you're not really harming anybody. Try to keep it in good condition, of course, is going to be important because that's going to help the value later down the line. Buy things that you think are going to be more popular later than they are now, perhaps, because that can happen too. Like Grand Admiral Thrawn or Ahsoka are two really good prime recent examples where they were available readily in 2015, 2016 or whatever in some sets, but then they get a phone call from Jared. Hello, filming Ask M&R Productions.
Oh, I'm here.
You're here?
Yeah.
What you got?
Your IKEA set.
All right, come in. But yeah, essentially, if you find something that you think is going to become way more popular down the line, like Ahsoka and Thrawn did, like, you could make a ton of money. It's just hard to speculate and know exactly what that's going to be. Oh God, what do we got? By Gleek.
This is the cleanest I've ever seen it.
It is clean. I did kind of clean it up today.
God damn.
The By Gleek. What do I owe you?
Nothing.
Oh yeah, free Lego. Woo! Woo! Yeah. The new road plates, right? This is the big hot topic.
Yeah.
New road plates are $20, right? $20, you get these, like, what, 4 plates, right? All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching Ask M&R Productions this week. I have to go now because my friend's here, so I'll like, comment, subscribe, and comment questions. Do you have anything else? You got gray hair. What the hell? He's old!